Hello, and monsters abound here. The Silence and the Fury has been announced, and Taurox the Brass Bull and Oxyotl the Chameleon skink seem to be the new legendary lords for the newly teased Total War Warhammer 2 DLC, the final one we're likely to get. We must surely be getting our much anticipated Beastman rework. There's been no mention of it, I'm just going to assume it's gonna be coming. To say that I'm excited, I can't express how much I want this. Beastmen are my favourite race in Warhammer. The poor goat-hoof boys, the goons of the Warhammer world, equal to stormtroopers in the way they get dropped into story to be faceless foes to be exterminated. But now we have Taurox. Taurox is the Brass Bull, a literal engine of destruction who does not tire or rest. Taurox, or Slaughterhorn to his friends, if he hadn't killed them all, or hadn't he, has a supervillain-like origin story, downtrodden and forgotten by society, probably due to being a Minotaur and killing everything he can get his hands on. He was already a scary bull boy, but his penchant for destruction caught the eyes of the Chaos Gods. The Fell Powers saw this and sent an emissary that crawled its way out of the remains of one of his recent victims, like the creepy girl ghost off the ring crawling out of the TV. The emissary dripped in malevolent energy, a hell-born nightmare made life. It raised the empty black pits of its eyes towards Taurox, and Taurox bit his head off. I don't know what they were expecting, really. Taurox, having nommed on the head of something that really shouldn't be, was racked with visions of blood, death and destruction, sort of like doom scrolling through Twitter. First he butchered every single one of his tribe, then he went on a multi-day bender before waking up in the lovely little hamlet of Littberg, or what was left of it, because most of it was on fire and the rest was covered in small chunks of its inhabitants. Taurox, meanwhile, was face down in a river of blood, and I'm fairly sure we can all say we've been there. Taurox was reborn that day, cast in pure bronze. Fairly sure we can tell which of the four Chaos Gods did that one. Bronze skid, covered in blood, likes killing. Yeah, don't really need to be fucking Columbo for that one, do we? You could ask why bother doing the bronze thing, but Khorne isn't really the Chaos Pantheon's biggest thinker. He probably just thought it sounded cool. It's frankly amazing that he didn't turn Taurox into a giant skull with blood pouring out of its eyes, as that seems to be his go-to. In the lore, it states that Taurox is growing inexorably closer to Dala-Beckland as the days go by. In the same way that many threats in the Games Workshop universes are always getting closer to somewhere but never do, because that would require some form of ongoing storyline. I don't think Dala-Beckland has much to worry about. Until the end times, anyway. So Taurox, what can we expect? Well, hopefully a Beastman rework for one. I have no idea what they will do, but I have high hopes. High hopes. The Amazons in Troy might be a good base to work from, but as that was CA Sophia, I'm not sure we'll see any bleed over, but I could be wrong. Taurox himself seems to have a mechanic similar to Lubu from Three Kingdoms, as he gains momentum after winning battles that allows him to keep fighting and replenish. And from the sounds of it, gains more power the more stuff he kills in a streak. Nice. Meanwhile, he will likely give buffs to Minotaur units who are, if you've not guessed it, my boys. In the campaign, he is on a quest to locate the Heart of Darkness, which in 40k is a Necron self-repair system which can be installed onto a Necron Lord's body. Seen as Taurox is brass and all, maybe, but it's likely just a neat name. But trying to beat him to his prize is his foil, Oxyotl, a chameleon skink who was alive at the time of the first great incursion of Chaos. Based in the great temple city of the city defenders fell back when an onslaught of demons reached them after the Wart Gates had collapsed. Fighting back street by street, the Slan Mage Peter city attempted to cast a spell so powerful it would wipe out all of the attacking demonic horde. The last of his temple guard and the Oxyotl's diminished numbers of chameleon skinks fought to the last to hold out just long enough. The Mage Priest fucked it. Oxyotl woke up in the realm of chaos itself, the spell having backfired. His Slan Master was demon food, but thankfully his ability to remain hidden was still working, so he quickly scampered off to find some relative safety. In hell. Let that sink in. This adorable little skink boy was alone in hell, in literal mind-bending, insanity-inducing hell. Fortunately, Oxyotl was a mixture of Rambo, Doomguy and John Wicks. He roamed the realm of chaos for an unknown time, destroying demons and escaping all attempts to catch him. Being a right old nuisance he was, rummaging around in Slaaneish's underwear drawer, traipsing all over Nurgle's garden, mixing up Tzeentch's schemes and refusing to die, which really got on Khorne's nerves. Eventually, he became so annoying that the Chaos Realm spat him out 7,000 years later. The Slan Mage Priests were pretty amazed that he was alive, and deeply suspicious. Even if his motivations were untainted, they couldn't be sure that he wasn't, so none of them dared scour his mind for what trials he had endured. Not even to find out what Slaaneish's Red Room looked like. They just want to know for purely academic purposes, you understand. Oxyotl still fights for the Old One's cause and continues his John Wick's ways, defeating chaos wherever it pops up, and often when chaos does pop up, Oxyotl is already waiting for it. Recently, during a siege of Oxyotl, a greater demon of Zinch tried some sneaky shenanigans by materialising below the city in a long corrupted spawning pool to open up a second front. Despite being a greater demon to the Master of Schemes, I guess it wasn't just as planned that Oxyotl was already waiting for him and sent him packing back to the realm of chaos in a hail of blowpipe darts. In the campaign, Oxyotl will have the ability to secure secret sanctums scattered across the world and has the ability to travel between them and his capital to locate and tackle a threat of chaos. Sounds pretty good. We can also assume he's going to give some nice buffs to Chameleon skinks. With that, I'm glad that the Beastmen are finally getting the attention they deserve. It's been a long time, and the Beastmen have been not in the best position. But I'm also glad that we're getting some new characters with what sound like really interesting mechanics. Really looking forward to it. Hopefully, it releases soon. But until then, thank you very much for watching.